Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and this is Stitched Up. So welcome back to another 10 spring summer dress patterns that you can get out of 2 meters of fabric. So this I think is my third episode in this series that I am covering, and today we're covering jersey patterns. So I know this has been much requested and it's taken me a little bit of time to do all the research and get this put together for you, but I do have 10 patterns to share with you today. Now I must say that looking at jersey patterns that fit the bill was actually more difficult than I thought it would be, and the main reason for that is because 2 meters is not a lot of fabric, and I didn't want to just share 10 t-shirt dresses with you because that would be a bit boring. So I have managed to find some that are a little bit different to what you think you could get out of 10 meters. Well, I'm hoping they are anyway. And they are not all t-shirt dresses because yeah, that would just be a bit boring. So I hope you enjoy the patterns that I have found for you today. Most of them are very size inclusive. 1 or 2 of them potentially aren't, but you know, that goes with the territory, I guess. Some of them have got lots of different options with them as well, which means you've just got a lot of versatility in how to mix and match different elements of a design to create a perfect dress for you as well. And I hope that there's something for everyone amongst here. There are a couple of options that you might think are maybe more suited to a young teenager, but I wanted to include them because we all have different styles, and one of the beauties of sewing is that you can choose a style that suits you, that spans whatever size range, age range that you might have some preconceived ideas about. And at the end of the day, we all wear what we want to wear, don't we? And a design shouldn't have an age limit as far as I'm concerned. In addition to that, it might be that you have a young teenager in your life that has dug a 2 meter piece of jersey out of your stash and said, "Mum, I love this fabric, can you make something out of it for me?" And you're thinking, what the heck, I have no idea. There might be something in here that is suitable. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. I need to put my specs on as always because I can't read without them. Right, we are going to start with number 1, which is the Karina knit dress by Style Arc. So this is described as a pull-on fitted dress with slight negative ease. It has a round neck with neckband, extended shoulder breadth and a twist front. It comes in PDF and printed versions, and as with all Style Arc patterns, you can just choose to purchase a single size, which I believe gives you the size above and the size below for grading, or you can get the multi-size as well. And dependent on whether you get the PDF or printed pattern, it costs anywhere between 17 and 26 Australian dollars, which is round about sort of the 11 to 15 pounds mark in UK pounds. This pattern comes in sizes 4 to 30. It has a bust of 30.3 to 67, waist of 23.5 to 61, and hip of 32.6 to 70. That's in inches. It's designed for a medium level sewer, so somebody who's got a bit of sewing experience behind them. And fabric suggestions it recommends are knit jerseys, baby wools, don't know what baby wool is, and a merino knit, and it takes between 1.4 and 2.5 meters of fabric dependent on the size you are making. Now I really like this dress. I think, yeah, we're starting with something that is very sort of t-shirt style dress, but I really love the uniqueness of that twist front design. I think what's great about this is there's lots of us of a certain age that might have a bit of a mum tum. We tend to sort of, well, I do personally tend to shy away from knit dresses on the whole, as in this kind of style, because when they're fairly sort of skimming, and you know, if you've got that bit of a mum tum, I find when I wear dresses like this that I do that sucky in thing, you know, where you're trying to hold your stomach in because you don't want it to stick out like a little pooch. And I think this kind of dress with just that little bit of interest there over the tummy helps to hide that. Or if you want to hide that, if you don't want to hide that, then absolutely, you do you, because that's amazing to have that kind of confidence. But lots of us don't, let's face it. And we, you know, we all have bits of us that we do want to hide or not exaggerate. And I think, you know, having that kind of ruching twist at the front is a really good way of disguising that, if you want to disguise that part of your body. So I really like this. I think it's a really unique take on a knit t-shirt dress, and that's my number one. Moving on to number two is the Pattern Emporium Heartstrings Strappy Dress. Now, this is a dress that I really like the look of. I think it's perfect for summer. And what I like about it is that it has various different options, and you've got a waist seam in there. I personally prefer a dress with a waist seam because my waist is my narrow part of my body, and I find that if I've got a waist seam there, it means I can just get it cinched in just to highlight my waist, which is something that I like to do. So this pattern you've got in different lengths, you have different finishes with different straps, and you've also got options of lining it on the inside in the upper bust as well. So this is great for those of us that are a little bit more busty and just need a little bit more bust support. With the wider straps, it means you can wear a bra with it if you want to, or you can have the narrower straps if you feel you don't need to. And because it has this lined bust shelf in there as well, you can always add in an extra bit of something like power mesh just to give you a little bit more bust support if you feel that you need it. So this is described as a fit and flare style, which features a fitted bodice with narrow or wide straps, waist seam and an A-line skirt. It's designed for knit fabrics and includes an optional shelf bra that you are going to love. So it features a fit and flare silhouette, a high or low back, a front that has a band or binding along the neckline. Inside it is single layer, but you can either line it or, as I say, put a shelf bra in. The shelf bra is optional, can be made in the self fabric or for extra support, athletic knit or power mesh, as I've just mentioned. Finishes are with binding or fold over elastic. Straps, you can use binding, fold over elastic, added wide straps with a ring, or adjustable straps. You can use soft elastin, it says clear swim elastic or plain elastic. Lengths are above knee, below knee and long. So you've got lots and lots of different options with this, which means you can make this dress into something that is perfect for you. Now, sizing wise, it comes in sizes 4 to 30, which is a bust of 27.5 to 32 3/4. Sorry, 52 3/4, a waist of 21.5 to 48 inches and a hip of a 21.5 to 58 inches. So you've got a really good wide size range there. And it comes as a PDF only. So with that, you get A4 print at home, US letter, A0 copy shop files, and also projector files as well. And this takes a very bare minimum 1.2 meters of fabric all the way up to 2 3/4, dependent on the style and length and size, etc., that you choose. So I think this is a really good option for summer. You know, you can really make this your own and utilize the amount of fabric that you've got if you want to make this kind of style. It recommends 4-way stretch and 2-way stretch knits with vertical give. So it suggests fabrics such as cotton lycras, swim fabrics, athletic knits, merino wool knits, rib knits, jacquards, viscose or rayon elastane knits, double brushed poly, single brushed poly, stretch knit, crepe, polyelastane knits, bamboo elastane, modal lycras. For a cool summer dress, it sews up beautifully in cotton lycra, bamboo, viscose and modals, but you can also layer it up in winter as well, which I think is a really nice idea. For the shelf bra fabric, it recommends the same self fabrics as I've already talked about, but again, just to make it a little bit more supportive, you can add in athletic knits or add in some power mesh. Moving on to my number 3 is the Cashmerette Grafton dress. Now this pattern is such a vast pattern. Cashmerette are well known for being one of the pioneers of inclusive sizing with respect to their patterns. They draft for different cup sizes as well, so you don't have to worry about small and full bust adjustments. Just choose the cup size that is right for you. They have a really intuitive calculator on their website, so if you put your measurements in, it automatically calculates what cup size you need to go with. Their patterns come as 2 size bands, so you have a 0 to 16 and a 12 to 32 separate size bands, and the cup sizes are a C to H, which is just incredible. So over the 2 size bands, the measurements for this pattern are a bust of 33 to 60, a waist of 25 to 52, and a hip of 35 to 62. It comes in PDF or a printed pattern, and it costs between £20 and £24. You might think that's a bit steep, but you get over 400 different combinations with this pattern, some of which you can get out of 2 meters. So what do they describe this pattern as? They describe it as mix and match your way to a knit wardrobe that's uniquely yours with the Grafton dress. It also comes with a top and skirt option within this pattern pack as well. This curve friendly sewing pattern comes with cup sizes C to H and multiple bodice, skirt, sleeve and neckline options to make over 400 possible knit dresses, skirts and tops. So a casual skater dress, a friendly asymmetrical skirt, a glamorous gown, an elevated tee, a retro frock and so much more. You can craft a unique look every time you sew the Grafton. It has a beautifully illustrated, detailed instruction booklet that accompanies the pattern, and it's designed for an advanced beginner. Recommended fabrics are light to medium weight knit fabrics such as jersey, ITY, Liverpool knits, double knits or ponte with at least 25% stretch, but you may need to adjust the length to account for the skirt stretching vertically. If you are lining your bodice for the square neckline, optional for all others, you can use the same fabric for the lining or a lighter weight knit with the same amount of stretch. So yes, dependent on the combination that you choose with this pattern, you can get certain dresses out of 2 meters of fabrics, dependent on obviously what size you're choosing and what elements etc you're using to make up the dress of your dreams. But yeah, I think this is hugely value for money when you consider all the other options that you get with this, all the extra elements that Cashmerette are well known for putting into their patterns. I just think it's an absolutely fantastic pattern and well worth the money. You know, there are so many different options. You've got straight skirts, you've got flared skirts, you've got different neckline options, you've got different sleeves, and I think you can make a really cute spring and summer dress out of this pattern. So that is my number 3. So moving on to number 4 is the Petite Stitchery Adult Dovie. Now this dress it comes in PDF only, so with that you get A4 and US letter files to print at home, A0 and projector files. It costs £9 and it comes in sizes extra small to 5X, which equate to bust measurement of 31 to 59, a waist of 25 to 53 and a hip of 34 to 62 inches. So this pattern is a really gorgeous, simple yet stylish design that can be dressed either up or down. It features a square neckline with optional faux ties to finish the shoulders. You can choose from a long line crop length or add on an A-line skirt for a knee or midi length dress. Dovie would be the perfect dress for your date night plans or the perfect sundress for spring and summer. So options and features include square front and back neckline, gathered bodice detail, cup sizes A to GH for up to a 5-inch full bust adjustment, faux shoulder ties, long line crop if you just want to make it into a top, and knee or midi length dress. What Petite Stitchery do with this pattern, and I'm sure they do it for a lot of their others, is because you've got like a separate top and skirt, which means you can just make it as a top or then add the skirt on to make a dress. They give you fabric measurements for the separate pieces. So the fabric requirements for the bodice are between 1.1 and 1.2 meters, dependent on the size you're making, and the skirt is 1.5 to 2 meters, dependent on the length. Now, obviously, that's a little bit more than 2 meters, but I wanted to include it anyway because I think you could probably get this out of 2.5 meters. So remember, the top is lined, which means that if you haven't got enough of your fashion fabric, you can line it with a similar weight fabric with similar stretch as well. That means you can just use up those little offcuts or remnants that you've got lying about if you wanted to create this dress and you didn't have quite enough. So I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous summer dress. I think it's really pretty, and yeah, you could dress this up or dress this down. It would just be lovely for spring and summer. So that is my number 4. Moving on to number 5 is the Knipmode 21A dress. Now, Knipmode have been around a long time and I've heard a lot about them. I've heard that their drafting is really, really good, but I've never made any of their patterns. So they are a Dutch brand, and this dress, which has the really inspiring name of Dress 21A, also comes as a top version as well. But I really like this. Again, we are just elevating the traditional knit tank dress, I guess. But what you've got with this is, what it describes it as is a straightforward summer model with subtle tailoring. The cutout gives the dress a flattering waist accent. It's finished with the same border fabric that's also used for the neckline. So essentially what you've got here is you've got like it looks like a muscle style tank or race, I don't know if it's racer back, but you know, where it's cutting a little bit over your armholes here, and then it skims over the hips down to sort of midi length, and then what makes this just a little bit different is you've got this really cute sort of cutout detail that is cut away all across the back. So from the back it looks like you're wearing a separate top and skirt. I really like it. I think it's really nice and just a different take on the traditional knit tank dress. So it comes in PDF and paper. The PDF is £7.95 and the paper copy is £15.95. This is euros. It also comes in a projector file, I'm assuming, because it calls it a beamer, and I'm thinking that that must be a projector file. And the sizes are a small to 3XL. So that is a bust of 32.6 to 44 inches, waist of 26 to 44, and a hip of 36 to 58. So it's fairly size inclusive with this. Recommended fabrics are French terry, or it just says jersey. So I would suggest something with good recovery, because you want it to be able to sort of suck back in, especially with that cutout detail. Nobody wants any sort of fabric flapping about when you are wearing it. And obviously make sure that you would use proper ribbing fabric, I think, for the neckline and around the cutout detail in the back. So I would go for, you know, something like your modal jerseys, viscose jerseys, those kinds of things. Especially in the midi length, you want something with a little bit of drape there. And this takes between 1.8 and 2.35 meters of fabric, dependent on the size that you are making. So yeah, I would love to try a Knipmode dress, to be honest, because I've heard lots of good things about them, and I think they're a bit like Burda, that, you know, they're known for being really well drafted. You know, they've been around a long time and really reliable in regards to how their patterns make up, etc. So I think this is a really nice, cute option for spring and summer. Number 6 is a Greenstyle pattern. Now, Greenstyle are a pattern company that I have used lots in the past. I run and I like to make my own athletic wear from time to time, particularly running leggings. And I've made a few of Greenstyle's athletic leggings for running, and I can absolutely account for them at being amazing. They have so many elements that make up their patterns. They have such a wide size range, but not only that, they do them in petite, and they also do tall sizing as well, which means I can just print out the exact pattern size that I need in the right height for me as well. I just think it's brilliant. It means I don't have to make any adjustments to their patterns. And with regards to their leggings patterns, they even do things like calf width and things like that. So you really can grade to the size that you need before you print it out, which is just incredible. Really can vouch for them. They have, you know, they have so many different options with each pattern as well. They're really good value for money. So the pattern that I've chosen to talk to you about today is the Azure Dress by Greenstyle. It comes in PDF only, and it is a layered PDF, which means you can, once you've checked your size, you can exclude all the other sizes before you print out your pattern. It also comes in projector files as well, and this pattern is designed and it also has a top version of this pattern as well. So it describes this pattern as a stylish boxy t-shirt, tank or dress, which features several options. The dress has an elastic in the back waist for a comfortable, flattering silhouette. Add this staple to your closet and you can stay on trend with this versatile pattern. So with this pattern, you get a t-shirt tank with wide or narrow straps and dress options. The shirt or tank have 3 length options. It's got 3 neckline options, a crew, a v-neck or scoop, 4 drop sleeve options, cap, short, full and long sleeve. It has a 2-inch full bust adjustment front, which is included in both the top and the dress. And fabric requirements are between 1 to 3 yards of 60-inch wide fabric, dependent on your desired options and size. It recommends selecting top weight knit fabrics with greater than 50% horizontal stretch, such as rayon spandex, dry blend jersey, modal and performance fabrics. So the sizing on this is a bust of 30 to 61 inches, a waist of 22 to 57 and a hip of 32 to 62 inches. So you've got a really good size range. It is designed for a confident beginner, and I think this kind of silhouette is going to be the kind of knit dress that lots of women would really enjoy wearing throughout spring and summer. And as I say, dependent on which option you go for, you can get this out of 2 meters. So that is my number 6. Moving on to number 7 is my second style arc pattern, because I just love style arc patterns and they have so many fantastic options available. This is the Curvy dress, and this is a knit pattern that is described as a square shouldered tank dress or top with shoulder pads and a crew neck. I love the look of this dress because I love how it's got like that slightly drop shouldered look, and it's got splits in the side, and then you can also cinch it in with a belt if you wanted to just, you know, highlight your waist. If you don't, you can just leave it loose and flow in. I think this is just a nice take on the traditional tank dress, and like the other style art patterns, it comes in both a PDF and a printed pattern with either single or multi-size options. Sizing is the same as the previous style art pattern. This comes in sizes 4 to 30, which is a bust of 30 to 67, waist of 23 to 61 and hip of 32 to 70 inches. So you've got a really wide size range there that is going to hopefully cater to most bodies. It's designed as an easy to medium level sew, and again it costs between 17 and 26 Australian dollars dependent on which option you go for, whether it's the single sizing or the printed pattern multi-size option. So to tell you a little bit more about this pattern, you've got square shoulders with shoulder pads, a straight shaped dress and top, 3 lengths in the one pattern. The long dress hits just above the ankle with a side split. The knee length dress has a small side split, and you've also got a hip length top in this pattern as well, and it has a crew neck band. Fabric suggestions are knit jerseys. It doesn't elaborate beyond that, but I would say, you know, dependent on which style you're making, if you're going for the full length version, I would go something with a little bit more drape, maybe like a viscose jersey, modal jerseys, that type of thing. The shorter versions, I think you could easily use the more stable jerseys. But then again, I would say for the longer dress, you could probably use ponties as well. I love it. I really like this dress. This is something that I could see myself wearing throughout summer with sandals, and you know, you can elevate it up with a bit of jewelry if you're going out in the evening. I just think it's really, really nice. Dependent on the size you are making, you are going to need between 1.5 and 2.5 meters of fabric, obviously depending on the size and the length. Moving on to number 8 is a little bit of a wild card here, and I appreciate this pattern is probably not going to be something that a lot of you may go for. Do you remember that teenager that I talked about earlier, or somebody who's really young at heart that just wants to wear something absolutely incredible? I think this dress is incredible. It really is. Now, I am going to just say straight away, it isn't the most size inclusive pattern, but I wanted to include it from a design perspective more than anything, because I just think this is such a cute dress. So this is the Kiana Bonollo Designs Bow Cutout dress. So it comes in a PDF only, but with this pattern you do get a video tutorial with it. Now it's £13.06, and it comes in sizes extra small to XL, which are a bust of 30 to 44 inches, a waist of 23 to 37, and a hip of 33 to 47. You get 2 versions of this pattern, a mini and a maxi dress. The mini takes 1 meter of fabric. The maxi is just under 3 meters. So, you know, we're going to have to exclude that unless you've got more fabric that you could use for this. It recommends high stretch fabrics for this, and you will see why when you look at the images, because it's very figure hugging and very suck you in type of dress. So it recommends a stretch percentage of at least 70%. So you're looking for the really, really stretchy fabrics here. Things such as stretch velvets. I mean, it mentions sweat in it as well. I potentially wouldn't use that personally because I'd be worried about the recovery. I think you need something that's got lots of recovery here so it doesn't bag out in wearing. So it's designed for beginners to intermediate. Yeah, if you look at the design of this dress, it is so cute. You've got like this bow sort of detail bralette type top with a little bit of the Empire line skin showing, and then you've got a skirt which is really fitted through the upper waist all through to the lower hip, I would say, and then it gently flares out. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's really gorgeous. If I was 18 again, I would absolutely jump at making something like this for myself. Probably not something I would go for now, but you know, as I mentioned earlier, sewing means you can sew what you want and wear what you want, and it's nobody else's business, is it? Let's face it. But for the younger people in your life that probably would be drawn to this kind of aesthetic, it's a definite option which would be absolutely gorgeous for summer. I mean, it would be great, wouldn't it, for like a wedding or an event, something like that you could make for somebody. It would just be beautiful. But yeah, I think it's gorgeous. Really, really lovely dress, and I had to include it. So my next pattern, number 9, is the Calif collection Esteem dress. This comes in PDF only, and with that you get A4 US letter and A0 copy shop version. Again, this is £13.06. I think that's because it's Etsy prices, and I found this on Etsy. It comes in sizes 00 to 16, which are US sizing. So I totally appreciate this is not size inclusive. I am just going to say that because the hip size doesn't even go up to my total hip size, but it comes in a bust of 31 to 43 inches, waist of 25.5 to 38, and a hip of 29.5 to 41.5, which is really quite narrow. I don't know if that is going to be too much of an issue though, because the skirt is a fit and flare skirt, so the hip measurement is not that much of an issue. It's designed for an intermediate sewist, and you can get this out of 2 meters of fabric for all sizes. It recommends stable knits less than 50% stretch, and it's also suitable for wovens as well. So if you wanted to use this for a woven fabric, you can make this pattern out of a woven. So this dress was inspired by Donna Karan's 2013 spring line. It It says the midline sits at the natural waist. It has a scoop neck with a slightly fitted bust line, crisscross back straps with a gathered skirt and optional pockets. The back of the skirt closes with an invisible zipper. I don't think that would be so much of an issue if you are making this out of knit. The hemline is intended to fall just above the knee, but is customizable to your own needs. So fabrics it recommends, I'm not going to obviously talk about the woven fabrics, but it's lightweight wovens. But knits, as I say, it recommends stable knits with 100% recovery and less than 50% stretch. If working with a knit fabric, it does say that you will need to create the waistband with a woven fabric, so just bear that in mind. And that probably means I need to go back on what I just said about not including a zip in a knit fabric, because you will absolutely need to include a zip if you are making the waistband in a woven fabric. I wanted to include this because I just think it's a really nice dress. From the front, it looks like, you know, just a very sort of simple strapless scoop neckline, fitted dress to the waist with a flared skirt on, but then on the back you've got these lovely crisscross straps which are just so lovely. And yeah, I think it's a really nice, cute summer dress that many of you would absolutely love. So that's the Calif Esteem dress. And my final pattern that I wanted to talk to you about today is the Pattern Emporium Every Day's a Weekend dress. So this pattern is PDF only, and with that you get an A4, US and A0 and projector files. It costs £8, which is an absolute steal. It comes in sizes 4 to 30, which is a bust of 27.5 to 52 3/4, a waist of 21.5 to 48 3/4, and a hip of 31.5 to 58 3/4. It's designed for an experienced beginner and recommends 4-way stretch fabrics. So this pattern has a relaxed, easy-fitting bodice, tiered skirt, and a choice of sleeves and necklines, including a warm roll neck, which we're not going to talk about today because we're talking about spring and summer patterns. But, you know, having the versatility of that option in this pattern means that you could wear this throughout the seasons. So, like all Pattern Emporium patterns, you've got lots of options with this particular pattern, so you can really make it your own. And dependent on which option you're making, you can get this in 2 meters or less of fabric. So the mini dress version is 1.7 to 2.4 meters dependent on sizing. The knee length version 1.8 to 2.7, and the midi length 2 to 3 meters. So yeah, there are different options of this that you can get with a very small amount of fabric. It's a really nice, easy wearing, very versatile dress. It recommends fabrics such as viscose or rayon elastane knits, double brushed poly and single brushed poly, stretch knit crepes, polyelastane knits, cotton lycra, although it recommends not over 180 grams per square meter. That's the weight of the fabric. Bamboo and modal elastane knits, Cupro, ITY, wool knits, sweater knits, Harchi, DTY, I don't know what that is, and Liverpool. So yeah, lots of different options for this particular dress in fabric suggestions there for you. And yeah, I think this would be another really good pattern for spring and summer, which is really size inclusive. So that's it. That is my 10 jersey patterns for you today. Hopefully you've seen there's a wide range of designs and styles there. Hopefully something to suit everybody, and hopefully something that you've not seen before, and hopefully something to spark your inspiration and imagination. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you've made any of these already. And yeah, I hope that's been really useful. And I'm going to leave it there. So take care of yourselves, and I'll be back with you really soon. Bye.